Hello students. Okay, in this next series of videos we're going to be looking at a unit of mathematics called measurement. So let's go ahead and start by having a quick review of the metric system. Okay, so here are some of the common units we use in the metric system. So when we're talking about lengths, we use the meter, which is abbreviated with a lowercase m. Mass, which we typically call weight. The base unit for that isn't the gram, it's the kilogram, and the abbreviation for that is kg. The common unit that we use for temperature is degrees Celsius, or degrees C as the abbreviation. Internationally, the unit for temperature is actually degrees Kelvin, Kelvin. So you might want to look that up on Google and find out what the difference is. The unit for time in the metric system is the second, which is lowercase s. And finally, this actually isn't a proper unit in the metric system, but we use it a fair bit. So the unit for capacity is the liter, and for that we use an uppercase L, not a lowercase l, because lowercase l looks too much like a 1. Okay, let's move on from that. Now with the metric system, you have your base unit, such as the meter, and then you can talk about all of the lengths in terms of that. So if you want a bigger length, you can talk about the kilometer. I guess you could say kilometer, which is 1,000 meters, or the megameter, which is 1,000,000 meters, the gigameter, 1,000,000,000 meters, etc., all the way up to this thing called the yottameter, which is a 1 followed by 24 zeros. That's how many meters that is. If you're looking at shorter distances, we have the millimeter, which is 1,000th of a meter. So it's 1,000 millimeters in a meter. The micrometer is 1,000,000th of a meter. The nanometer is 1,000,000,000th of a meter, all the way down to the octometer, which is after the decimal point, you have 23 zeros, and then the 1 appears in the 24th place. Now, we tend not to use the prefixes deca, hecto, deci, and centa, except it's handy to talk about the centimeter, which is 1/100th of a meter. But typically, when you're talking about other base units other than the meter, we tend not to use that. Okay, let's have a look at some common conversions. Okay, now a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter, so therefore 1 meter is 100 centimeters. A millimeter is 1,000th of a meter, so therefore 1 meter is 1,000 millimeters. And if you combine those two facts together, there must be 10 millimeters in a centimeter, since 10 times 100 gives you 1,000. Kilo means 1,000, so therefore 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. Micro means 1,000,000th, so therefore 1 meter is 1,000,000 micrometers, and mega means 1,000,000, and therefore there are 1,000,000 meters in a megameter. Okay, these are sort of not used all that often, but certainly these conversions here you have to use all the time. Now, one question that students often have when they're working with conversions is, do I multiply or divide? So they know that there's 100 centimeters in a meter, and they're converting, say, meters to centimeters, but they say, well, how do I do it? Do I multiply or divide? Well, here's the way I like to think about it. I've got this length. Now, up here, I've divided it into 20 equal parts. Let's call them 20 millimeters. And because there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter, down here I've divided it into 2 centimeters. So if I'm converting from centimeters to millimeters, then I have to say, well, these are big, those are small. If I'm chopping it up into smaller pieces, I'm going to have more of them, and therefore I need to multiply. So 2 centimeters converted to millimeters, I'd have to multiply by 10 to get the 20. If I'm converting from small units back to big units, well, there's fewer of these. There's only 2 centimeters in place of 20 millimeters. Same length, but by using bigger units, you need a smaller number of them. So therefore, to convert millimeters to centimeters, what we do is we divide by 10. So little units to big units, divide, big units to small units, multiply. And that will work right throughout the entire metric system. Okay, let's go ahead and do a few conversions. I might do about 3 or 4 of these, then I'll let you have a go at trying to do the rest. So over here, we've just put a reminder of some of the common conversions. So let's have a go at this first question. So I'm converting big units into small units. Well, big to small means I need more of them. How many centimeters in a meter? Well, there it is. 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So I need to multiply that by 100, and I get 2,300 centimeters. Here I'm converting from small units to big units. Well, that means I need a fewer number of units for the same length, and therefore I have to divide by 100. And the quick way to do that is to move the decimal point 2 places to the left, and 220 centimeters is 2.2 meters. Okay, I'm going to try one more just down here. 92 centimeters to millimeters. Well, centimeters are bigger than millimeters, and therefore I have to multiply big units to small units. You multiply. There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter, and 92 times 10. I move my decimal point 1 place to the right, and I get 920 millimeters. Okay, stop the video and have a go, please, at the next 4, and then check answers. Start the video and check answers once you're finished. Okay, welcome back, students. So let's see how you went on these next 4. Now here we're going from big units to small units. So because I'm chopping it into smaller units, I need more of them. There's 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter, so I need to multiply that by 1,000. I move my decimal point 1 place, 2 places, 3 places. I move my decimal point to the right 3 places. 1.2 meters is 1,200 millimeters. Here I'm going from small units to big units. Again, there's 1,000 millimeters in a meter. I've got to divide because there's fewer big units compared to the small units, so therefore I get 4.5. Small units to big units, once again I have to divide. In this case I'm dividing by 10, since there's 10 millimeters in a centimeter. And here I'm going from millimeters to centimeters. I've got to divide by 10, so my decimal point goes back 1, and I get 0.8. And that makes sense because 8 millimeters is less than 1 centimeter, and that's why I get the decimal. Okay, just to finish off, actually this is no longer the world's shortest man. I think he's been replaced by somebody else, but these are some pretty interesting pictures. So let's have a look at the world's tallest man meeting the world's shortest man. So there's the world's tallest man. His height is 246.5 centimeters, so that's incredibly tall. And here's the world's shortest man at just 76 centimeters. And to finish off, here's a little picture just showing the relative sizes of their hands. So it's quite amazing the variation we have in the size of humans. Okay, we'll finish off there, and then we'll have a look at perimeter in the next video.